for a moment just stop both of you? Can I for just a moment, Prasenjit, just a minute. Just a minute, Prasenjit. Can I just, since China was mentioned, Swapan, I might also add here, Chinese incursions have also increased. China continues to patrol points which were earlier with India, and the Chinese, both in Depsang and in Ladakh, have intruded. Now, when you're a Vishwaguru, you would expect, therefore, you to be able to look the Chinese in the eye and ensure status quo ante. That hasn't happened, and we can look back to 2020, now to 23. In the last 3 years, that hasn't happened. So, in some sense, do you believe we are still not the kind of, because with Vishwaguru, I get, the sort of concept of becoming a superpower. Do you consider we are still far away from that?
We haven't yet achieved that level. That is an aspiration. That is an aspiration. It would be foolish on my part.
But the reality, for example, of Chinese troops on the ground. For example, I just gave the Chinese troops on the ground.
And we have put China to where it is. We have made China its place.
One minute, Prasenjit, please.
No, I know you want a full-fledged...
What I'm asking you, Swapan, just a minute, Swapan. What I'm asking you is that if we are a Vishwaguru, surely then the world should recognize us and give us and recognize us as a country that can look the Chinese in the eye, that can ensure that our borders are not intruded by the Chinese. Are these weaknesses that are being covered up by these fine words?
That's the aspiration. That's what you are trying to get to. But it would be foolhardy on my part to say that we've already achieved that status. We've come from the kindergarten to a particularly high school level, but we still haven't got to the university level at all. But there are some people who would like us to remain at the kindergarten stage. We've moved ahead.
No, I'm only stating the facts on the ground when I speak
of... There is still a long way to go.
Okay.
There is still a long way to go.
Can I then come... Okay, can I come to the next question, which is equally contentious? And Manisha Priyam, why don't you take this? Indian society, is it more divided today or more united under Prime Minister Modi? This is a contentious question because we today have a majority government with a large majority in the Lok Sabha, over 300 seats, yet not a single Muslim MP out of them. We've had the Supreme Court having to step in to check increasing instances of hate speech. Do you see that as a sign of a divided society, or do you believe Mr. Modi has, by ensuring welfare schemes go to every Indian irrespective of religion, proved perhaps that sabka saath, sabka vikas?
So certainly the government has moved ahead with an agenda of sabka saath, sabka vikas, but at the same time there are too many empirical evidences of hate speeches having gone up, even ministers of this government having indulged in hate speeches and gone away with impunity. There are instances, including in the recent Karnataka elections, where elections were hyper-localized, and you saw very important leaders, even during an assembly election, taking it to a pitch of divisive, this community versus that. I'm not naming the communities, I'm not naming the leaders, so nobody should get excited. But the one important lesson of Karnataka is that the people at the grassroots are rejecting this, not the theoreticians living in university worlds and academia or left liberal. People down below are saying our issues are different. I know I didn't get a chance to speak in the other rounds, but one of the important messages also of the elections was that we got into the cylinder regime, we thought it was good for us, but we've only been forced to become, consumers of LPG cylinders. Somebody who spent 400 rupees has certainly not gone so well off that they'll be able to buy, daily cooking cylinders for 1200 rupees. So let us understand this. People are speaking out to a government that they love and telling that government that things are very expensive. These are not about headline inflation rates. People are saying it's difficult to manage the household. Yes.
Can I just come back? We're not just looking at Karnataka, but the last 9 years, this campaign of is there a sense you believe that social relations have got disrupted and people have got more divided than before?
They have.
Or do you believe
the answer is yes, they have.
People are... Yes, they have. The short answer is yes, they have.
Social relationships are...
Manisha Priyam, short answer is yes, they have. Okay. You want to respond, Swapan, because this remains a millstone in a way around the Modi government's neck.
Manisha is quite fair in various respects, that people have moved into the cylinder economy and they find themselves squeezed. So there has to be other methods which have to be explored in this. But the question which you posed, why isn't there more Muslims in the government? Why is there no? Because Muslims have not participated within the BJP ecosystem. Because they have not voted for the BJP. It's like saying that why aren't there leftists in the cabinet? They don't vote for the BJP. You know, so
but when I continue with campaigns of Azan, Halal, Hijab, when I come up with campaigns from time to time when a political party is identified with campaigns that are seen as anti-minority, how do you build trust? That's the question. It's Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas, Sabka Vishwas. The Vishwas is missing, Swapan Dasgupta.
It is Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas, Sabka Vishwas, Sabka Prayas is very much a part of this. But there are fault lines in society. The important thing is that how do we lessen it, number one. And number two, do we actually obfuscate every single issue there is? That's the question. Or do we cover it up with some sort of contrived amity? These are questions which have to be answered. These are larger questions. These are political questions which have to be answered. And I don't think you'll ever get a conclusive answer to all of them. But the larger question, Manisha has pointed out, I think these are relevant. There are questions which have come out that as you take people up the economic ladder, there are newer problems which start coming in the way. And it's up to the government to actually imaginatively address those.
Okay, an aspirational society with rising aspirations, but a increasingly, dare I say, divided society